حي على الفلاح.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala rasulihil kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ja'alna du'atan ilayk wa ila rasulik. Allahumma hdina wa hdi bina wa ja'alna sababan liman ihtada. Faqad qala an-nabiyyu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-muslimu man salima al-muslimuna min lisani wa yadihi, aw kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam. So Shaitan also has a fishing competition. And in the fishing competition, you'll give prize based on how big fish, isn't it? Or if how much, either size or quantity. So when Shaitan is given his prize, who is the big fish? What is the big fish? When the little Shaitans and them come. And who is the fish to begin with? We are the fish, right? Shaitan is the wolf of men. Fishing for men and women. When we say men, we mean both. So Shaitan fishing. And what is the big fish? Who is the big fish? Okay, believers. Which one? Who among the believers? That little child going to maktab. Who he catch and he stopped that little child from going to maktab. Whichever Shaitan do that, catch a big fish. What's the next big fish? Salat. What again? Scholars, okay. There's a whale. Catch a whale. When you catch a whale, you skin it. When a Shaitan come and say, a cause and a husband and wife to quarrel, Shaitan say, you catch a big fish. So we have to understand, we pray, and Shaitan prays. But our pray is P-R-A-Y. And he prays what? P-R-E-Y. That is what we are to him. Right? Praise. Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi, he looked at 500,000 hadiths. How many? 500,000. Bukhari Sharif, that has about 7,200 and something hadiths. That is with those hadiths that are repeated, with repetition. When you're counting all the hadiths, one hadith is mentioned here. For example, innamal a'malu bin niyat is mentioned as the first hadith. But it is repeated 7 times in 7 different places, but it is not considered repetition. It is repeated with different chains of narrations and with slightly different wordings. One place the narration will be innamal a'malu bin niyat, plural. Other place al amalu bin niyat without the innama, like that. So there are 7 other places in Bukhari that it is repeated under 7 different chapters, under 7 different headings and so on. But without those repetitions, it's about 2,000 hadiths. You see 9-volume Bukhari, the green one, you all know it? Bukhari Sharif. That has about 2,000 hadiths. I'm talking about 500,000 hadiths. From that 500,000 hadiths, Imam Abu Hanifa selected 5 hadiths and says this is the crux of the matter. Right? Imam Abu Dawud as-Sajistani, the compiler of Abu Dawud, there are 6 books of hadith that are very famous. They are not the only authentic books of hadith, but they are the 6 famous books of hadith. So do not think in your mind that there are only 6 books of compilations of hadith. Mishkatul Masabih is selected hadith from these 6. From these 6 famous books of hadith, Mishkatul Masabih has taken out what? Selections from them. So it is a selection from the 6 books of hadith. So Bukhari has about 2,000. Okay? And we have 500,000. Imam Abu Hanifa selected 5 hadiths. And he says this is the crux of the matter. Abu Dawud, another compiler of hadith, selected 4. They are synchronized. They basically they have selected almost the same 4. Imam Abu Hanifa just selected 1 that also reflects another one. So today I would like to mention the theme of one of these hadiths. Because if these hadiths, let's say, each one has to represent 100,000 hadiths, we can't really do justice and cover the entire thing. So Imam Abu Dawud have selected 4 hadiths. Imam Nawawi and so on, the person who have compiled the 40 hadiths, and many of the scholars, they have selected certain hadiths. Some of them have selected Quranic ayats and said, this is the crux, this is it, this is enough. Imam Shafi, rahmatullah alayhi, he says about Suratul Asr, that if you take home the meaning of this surah, that is, when I say take home, I mean practice. Okay, if you were to implement the meaning of this surah, then that is enough to keep you guided. So this is why at the end of gathering sometimes you hear people recite Wal Asr innal insana lafi khusr, because that kind of sums it up. It kind of brings home the entire message of Deen and Islam, packages it in a nice simpler capsule and say what? Take that. That's enough. You need nothing else. Not that you don't really need, but it has everything in it. Surah Fatiha is of that nature as well. It brings everything together, and this is the beauty of Quran. The way Quran, what are the surahs in Quran? Tell me some surahs. Yasin, Waqia, Baqarah, the cow, the bee, Surah Nisa, the woman, and Surah Rijal, the man, Surah Furqan, the criterion. Look at the names of the surah. It is not like other books. Other books, how is it organized? Into chapters. Some books are organized where it is narrating an incident or a story. So it starts from chapter 1, when the person was born, and then how he grew up, and then where he went to school, and he get married, and this thing. So it follows a sequence. Some books. Other books are arranged as per topic. The chapter concerning this, and the chapter concerning that as per the topic. Quran is not like that. Quran is meant, and it is organized in such a way that any surah you read, any ayat you read, you will derive benefit from it. You need not know before and after. Follow? Anywhere you can go, and any amount is sufficient. Any amount will do. You wouldn't lose the story, you wouldn't lose the gist. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He has done, He has taken the entire Quran, all the revealed books, and it is contained in Quran. And the entire of Quran condensed in these 7 ayats. Right? These 7 ayats of Suratul Fatiha. And the entire of Surah Fatiha is condensed in what? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And the entire of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is condensed in the Ba. That letter Ba. And the entire of Ba, and the entire of all of it is condensed in that one nukta, that one dot under the Ba. Any other letter has one dot? Under? Which other letter has one dot? Jim. What other letter has one dot? Noon. But there is only one letter with one dot. And that is what? La ilaha illallah. That is the basis of it. One. Allah is one. Kul huwa Allahu ahad. Allah alone. No shirk. Ikhlas. Sincerity. Obey Him. You are returning to Him. One. It has been condensed. If we understand that, and that sinks into the heart, and we manifest that into our daily actions, then this life will be productive, and this life will have meaning. So, the muhaddithin, or the scholars of hadith, they have generally condensed, looked at all of the sayings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all of his actions, all of his approvals, and say, well, where this thing pointing? What is this? What is all of this trying to produce? And they have come up with 5 hadiths, some of them with 4 hadiths. And basically they have agreed. The hadith that I quoted in the beginning, this is one of them. Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadi. The first one that all of them agree, that is like a condensation of the message of Islam, is innamal a'malu bin niyat wa innama likulli imri'in ma nawa. That hadith, the hadith about intention. Because if your intention is correct and your intention is in order, that will take care of the sihat of your amals, of the correctness of your ibadats. All the ibadats that we are doing, if our ikhlas and our sincerity and the reason for why we are doing it, if sincerity is not in the heart, then all of our ibadats equals 0. There will be no reward for it. What ikhlas does, it puts the address on the envelope. You have a bill to pay, you put your check in it, okay? And you have to write the correct name on the check. If you write the wrong name on the check, and can it be said that you paid? No. The $1,000 come out, whatever amount would have come out from the account, but it would not have gone to the correct recipient. So it cannot be said that you paid. If you post in the letter, you write the letter, you write everything, whatever it is, and you did not address the envelope correctly, yes, the letter was written, but it will not reach the destination, and it will not be said that that letter was posted. That is what Ikhlas does. It sends our actions to the correct recipient for whom you are doing it. And whatever the intention is in the heart, that is where it will reach. If in our hearts, this is for Allah, only for Allah. And do you know when it is for Allah? When it is not for you. Usually when you don't want to do something, or something is difficult for you, or it is not the normal thing that you would have done, but you did it anyway, who you do it for? Who you sure in that case you did it for? For Allah. Because you are not part of the equation. Many a times we think of the things that we do and we feel that we are doing and we are accomplishing, but why are we doing these things? Because I like to read Quran. I like to fast. I feel good when I'm fasting. When I and me is part of that equation, know for a fact that we are sharing with Allah. I have a word for that, but I don't want to use the word. You have to understand. When you are doing something for Allah and for you, for Allah and somebody else, I have a word for that. And that is anti-Islam, anti-Iman and anti-Tawheed. When a thing is being done, it has to be done khalis lillah. Khalis means, ikhlas means purity. Purity means when there is nothing else in it. It is only for Allah. Whether in this situation I will do it, change the situation, will I still do it? Yes. Why? Because the reason for doing it is not the situation. So the situation may change, but I will still continue doing it. Like Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, the person who used to fund and subsidize and look after one of his family members, and then this family member turned on the family, started to say things about Aisha radiallahu ta'ala. So Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala said, no, what kind of thing is that? I supporting you, you poor, I supporting you, and you're going to talk against Aisha radiallahu ta'ala and spread rumors? Abu Bakr cut it. Say, no more for you. Allah revealed the verse of Quran saying, oh Abu Bakr, this is not befitting, this is not the way of people of a high caliber behave. People of a high status don't behave like that, react to situations and so on. Because you're going against, so that is it. I cut it from you. Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala and then took the pledge, I will never stop it again. And he continued the funds that he used to give this. I'm explaining ikhlas and sincerity. It must be done only for the sake of Allah. So that hadith about innamal a'malu bin niyat, that hadith ensures that our ibadat is correct. The correctness of our acts of worship For example, salat depends on wuzu, it depends on facing the correct direction, it depends on what again? Timing must be there, close, place of worship. All of these will ensure that the act of worship, the salat, is correct. But above all, the most important thing is ikhlas, sincerity of intention. Everything else can be correct, but if that is not correct, there are some things there will be a substitute for. There may be a substitute for your wuzu. Like what? Tayammum. There can be a substitute for standing in the salat. Like what? Sitting. Even lying down. Even moving your head. There are substitutes for other things that are essential. But there is no substitute for sincerity. There is no substitute for sincerely doing something. Oh Allah, for your sake, oh Allah, and only for you. Not even for Jannah. What is Jannah? Let's say you go to the doctor. Before you see the doctor, there's a waiting room. You go to visit somebody's office, whatever it is, they'll have a waiting room. That waiting room is not why you went. You didn't go to that particular place to sit in that waiting room. The AC there, real nice, boy. And he's got some nice magazines, that tea and coffee and thing there. There are nice things there. And as you up the status and the level of the place that you are visiting, the waiting room will tend to get nicer and nicer and nicer and better. You're going to the palace, that waiting room in the palace to see the king is not going to be like the waiting room of the doctor or whoever it is. It's going to be different. You're going to have marble and you're going to have, exquisite things. They will have some, not just tea and coffee, they will have some sweets, they might have some delicacies, they'll have somebody to serve you. Everything will be different about that waiting room. But the purpose of going to that place, it is not to experience and to enjoy the waiting room. It is to see the doctor or to meet the king. Jannah is the waiting room for the believers. It is not the objective of the believers. It's a nice waiting room. 500 years you will stand up just looking at the door of that waiting room. 500 years, and the angel will say, you thinking that is Jannah. Say, no, this is the door. Go inside now. Go inside. You stand up watching the door. What a waiting room Jannat is. For what? To see Allah. To see Allah. Jannat is not Jannat for anything else other than it gives you the opportunity to see Allah. That is what Jannah is valuable for. Because those who are in Jannah will be granted that opportunity. But those who are in Jahannam, the worst punishment of Jahannam is that you will not be able to see Allah. And the people will know that I am deprived. I will never get to see Allah. I'll never get to see my Creator. I'll never get to meet Him with Him being pleased with me. That is worse than the punishment of Jahannam. Hard for us to understand. But on that day, Wujuhu yawma idhin na'ima. Faces will be blooming and blossoming, happy, glowing with joy. Why? Ila rabbiha nazira, because they are looking at their Lord. So that is what Jannah is. Jannah is the waiting room for the real thing, real reason. So that ikhlas, Allah knows us, so He puts it as an encouragement. Come now, and you'll get this, and you'll get this and this. Why is He waiting to see me? But to encourage us, He knows how we are, He knows what we like, what motivates us and so on. So Allah motivates us like this. But what is the real objective? Like a child, you want to give him medicine, you have to tell him, oh, well, it will strengthen your body, and come now, it's sweet. That's all you want to tell them. It's sweet. It's nice. See, ooh, real nice, come. That's all you're telling him, so that he will take the medicine. But the benefit and the description of the medicine is something else. We will not be able to understand it. So Allah is encouraging us with the what? Sweetness of Jannah. So Ikhlas, first hadith that all of these muhaddithin have chosen, let's say it represents not just 100,000 hadith. This first hadith, Innamal a'malu binniyat, represents the 500,000 hadith. This is the crux of the matter. This is the crux of the matter and the message of all previous messages. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. And we have not been commanded excepting that we worship Allah مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ, making religion sincere only for Him. This is the general message, not just of 500,000 hadith. This is the message of Quran. This is the message of Deen from the beginning. And this is the sum total of it all, Ikhlas. This is why the kalima is called kalima tayyiba. It is also called kalimatul ikhlas. La ilaha illallah. That is called kalima tayyiba. Another name for it is kalimatul ikhlas. Surah Qul Huwa Allahu Ahad. That surah. What is the name of that surah? Huh? Ikhlas. Understand the connection? Only for Allah. Only for Allah. Today we are living our lives for ourselves. Where is Allah? Where is Allah in that equation? Where is Allah in the thing that drives us and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish? When we do something or we don't do it, where is Allah in that decision-making process? Where is the question about what will please Allah? It is about what will please me and what will please her and what will please this one and that one. Where is the pleasure of Allah? The pleasure of Allah in relation to the job that I do. What are the main consideration in whether I take this job or I don't take this job? What is the most important thing? How much? How much does it pay? Doesn't matter whether the job is in Port of Spain. So many people from Barrackpore working in Port of Spain every day up and down the highway. Right? Therapy by itself. But they'll do it why? Because the main motivation, the main consideration is the salary. Not for us. Not for us. The main consideration is called Allah wa qala Rasul. What will Allah be pleased with? What will Allah be happy with? What job can I do that I have to do in order to facilitate the income that Allah has written for me to come to me? What job I have to, but what job can I do that will please Allah? Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Suratul Ikhlas. What does Qul huwa Allahu ahad talk about? Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yulad. Ikhlas means only Allah, only for Allah. We have to bring our lives on that level, in that direction. Where the things that we do, the things that we say, sometimes you want to say something, but would that uttering that thing make Allah pleased? Would that please Allah? Is that what Allah wants? Sometimes you have to plant something, sometimes we have to do something, sometimes we have to buy a particular vehicle. Yes, I like this vehicle. This vehicle suits me. It catches my eyes. I would like driving this vehicle. But, it'll have 5 or 6 brothers going to the masjid. So on my way, if I buy this vehicle, they wouldn't fit. I'll buy this one that I don't like. It's not to my choosing then. It's not the best. But the vehicle that I'm purchasing has factored into it as number one consideration and priority. What will please Allah? What will please Allah? The food that I eat, the person that I marry, the place that the way I build my house, everything. Main consideration, what will please Allah? What will please Allah? And when the slave understands that he's a slave, and he submits and he acts like a slave, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes notice of him and makes him king of the creation. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do that. So this is the first hadith. I'll just introduce the second hadith, the one I quoted in the beginning. Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. A Muslim is that one from whom the Muslims are safe from his hands and his tongue. We can't guarantee this for the non-Muslim. The hadith does not include and use the word nas, people, because the situation may come up where we may have to harm them in the form of jihad and fighting and so on. We may have to oppose them. So the hadith does not bring them into the categorical safety from yourself, because there may be an instance. However, they are included in being safe from our hands and tongues unless there is a valid reason. Illa bihaqqihi, excepting if it is due. Excepting if they are to be harmed, for example, in fighting and in jihad, or to be opposed if they are oppressing and so on. Like this, or they are doing wrong and we have to stand up against them. Under the general and normal circumstances, they are afforded the same type of safety and security from me as an individual. This hadith, what does it capture? That we fulfill the rights of the creation of Allah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was once told about a woman, and the way the woman was presented verbally, the way she was presented to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, "Oh, Messenger of Allah, this is a woman. She fasts and she prays and this thing and that thing, and oh, what a Prophet ﷺ said, she is in hell." Sahabas were taken aback. This individual, this woman was being described to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and what was being put forward? Her salat is in order, her fasting is in order, her actions of ibadat, all of these things, full marks. The Prophet ﷺ said, she is in the hellfire. Why? She is not good to her neighbors. She is not good to her neighbors. That woman, another woman the Rasul ﷺ spoke about, who will go to the hellfire, was a woman who tied the cat. She didn't feed the cat, and she did not let the cat loose to go and find food for itself. She tied the cat and not feeding the cat. Jahannam for that. Because it is reflective of a nature. It is reflective of a character, of a certain type of person who may be feigning ibadat and obedience and worship, but deep down is something else. Deep down they are someone else. It is part and parcel of our iman, part and parcel of our character and disposition as believers, that we are good to the entire of creation, all of creation, living and non-living. Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahmatullah alayhi, he said there are three kinds of animals. Science classifies us as animals, but that's biologically, and we don't conform to that. Not everything people feed you, you must eat. So for example, I'm going, of course, for a little while I'll come back. For example, today they are trying to feed us the concept of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. They're always trying to push things that don't make sense down our throat. For example, I was supposed to bring artificial apple or something, grapes, and ask you what it is. What, put it in your mind. What is it? You know the plastic grapes and plastic apple? What is it? Artificial. But some people say it's artificial grapes. But it cannot be you will define it and describe it as an artificial grape, so that you just can't say artificial. You have to say artificial what? But that does not make it a grape. It is not grapes. Follow? It is what it is trying to mimic. And what does it lack? This artificial grape. It has the color, it has the shape, it has what does it not have that makes it not the fruit? It doesn't have the taste, it doesn't have the smell. It's not organic. So it doesn't have certain things that you can say, no, this is not a grape. It's artificial means it's an attempt to look like the real thing, but it can never be the real thing. Artificial intelligence is the same thing. It is where they are trying to make intelligence. But you cannot make intelligence For example, long time you had a manual car. You had to select the gear and you had to put it in. Then you had the automatic. Does that make the car smart? Does the car now have intelligence? The automatic car. Is it smarter than the manual car? What do you all think? Something can only be compared to something else if this has place and position and the other thing has place, position and size. You can't compare nothing and zero because both of them are zero. Like 6 or 1 half does nothing next now. What's the difference? No difference, they're the same. Same thing like the manual car and the automatic car. One is not smarter than the other because none of them smart. None of them have brains and intelligence. Akal, they don't have intelligence. What they have is design. Design. The manual is designed such that when you do so, it changes whatever. But the automatic, it's designed when, I don't know, like when how is it work? The pressure in the oil or something, I change the plate? Right, the design. So it changes not because it decides, okay, it's we are moving such and such or we're going up a hill, let me now go. It's not thinking. It's responding to our oil pressure. So no thought is going into there, so there is no intelligence in it. It's design. So they have us accepting our phone as a smartphone. Once you accept something in your mind, then your heart responds in a particular way. If you think that the phone or the internet have knowledge, it does not have knowledge. What does it have? Information. It's just a storage of information. And it can give you it quickly. So a calculator smart? It's just performing and responding to input and giving out. Do not buy in to the concept that a machine can have intelligence. Because if it has intelligence, Islam handles all of this, under the chapter of liability. Under the chapter of liability. So if a robot kills somebody, who you putting in jail? Understand why? Or the man who sent the robot or program or whatever. Because there's a word called mukallaf, liable. A child is not mukallaf, they are not liable. An insane person is not mukallaf. Why is an insane person not mukallaf? He doesn't have akal and intelligence. A little child, if you dress your child with silk, your boy child with silk, or you give him gold to wear, that child will not, the sin will not be recorded for that child, it will be recorded for you, the parent, the guardian, because he's not mukallaf. So Islam handles all of that. Time does not permit. What I want to suggest to you, do not consider instrument and technology as having intelligence. It is not intelligence. It is programming, it is gathering information, studying you. If every time you do this, then that, and they just suggest to you very quickly. Somebody's behind that. That is the first step. If you think it is intelligent and you think it's smart, next is obedience. Next is reverence. Next is worship. Why the Hindus worshiping the cow? Why they worship the cow? And the cow holding up the whole earth too, and the earth on top of the cow horn. But aside from that, because they benefit so much from this cow, they get milk from the cow, they get the gobar that they will make their little huts and their homes. So this cow gives you so much and so much to me that you are my Rabb and you're my Lord, I'll worship you now. Be careful of accepting what we feel is benefit from technology and responding in a way that reverence grows in the heart, because that sends you down the slippery slope of shirk and kufr. So I was talking about Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi. It is part of our culture of Islam that we are of benefit. We are of benefit to the entire of mankind. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.